Big social media companies sign EU pledge to tackle hate speech.
You said it's voluntary, but this is also like the EU, right? So if they don't voluntarily do it, the EU is probably going to make some laws to force them to do it.
I just find it interesting that in the US, Meta specifically was like, no, you can say all these horrible things about immigrants and queer folks, but over here, we'll go ahead and do this thing in the EU. It's like Pornhub at the Supreme Court.
This has to do with requiring people to give their information, basically driver's license, identify themselves for these porn websites. Completely unrelated note. Does anybody know a good VPN?
Where I think I think dating sites need to ID verify everybody.
Keep your government out of my goon cave.
Hey everyone, how the tech are you? I'm producer Dave, as my name implies. I'm the producer of all the shows here at Eplex Media, and I co-produce and co-host this show. Is that good? Is that bad? That's up to you. I don't know. I got two stories this week. The first one is amazing. Big social media companies sign EU pledge to tackle hate speech. On the heels of Meta announcing looser moderation rules on hateful speech around trans folks and immigrants, the big tech firms signed this thing. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, X, YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, Genu Video, Radukin Viber, and Microsoft-hosted customer services have pledged they will do more to remove illegal hate speech content in the EU. The pledge includes reviewing at least 2/3 of the hate speech notices within a day. And just for some further information here, this is a voluntary thing that they all joined. You are not required to do this. And X withdrew from the code's pledge on misinformation in 2022, and Google rejected the EU fact-checking commitment for YouTube and for search just this year.
Wow.
What do you think about that? That's pretty crazy. Like after the story I did last week, Meta's like, oh yeah, no problem, we got this.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that Google pulled out of fact checking for search. Not surprised for YouTube because it can be kind of a cesspool. But I'm guessing they did it because of the AI stuff that's coming up. But
that's probably it. Yeah.
You said it's voluntary, but this is also like the EU, right? So if they don't voluntarily do it, the EU is probably going to make some laws to force them to do it.
Right. And if the stuff's like there, and it's, some of this varies country by country, it's like well known that Germany has very strict laws around specific kinds of hate speech, particularly kinds of hate speech that sort of reference or have something to do with the Third Reich, essentially, that they're not. Yeah. So, this is for the entire EU, it's opt-in, but there may be countries in the EU where this is not stuff like this is not opt-in. Like in Germany, it's not opt-in. You cannot operate in Germany if you don't take down stuff that, praises the Third Reich and other like, I guess, fairly specific things that I'm not, I don't have a list off the top of my head. So, like you had said about search, it didn't make sense really. And then I thought about the AI crap that gets put out there. It's like, oh yeah, you don't want to have to fact check your own AI, do you? Because you can't really do that because it's just making shit up in real time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody just recently said that they thought the AI summary for Google search is good. And I'm like, really need to double check the facts. And I mean, it sounds good. But we're not to the point where we can be certain that the facts in it are correct.
Right. These summaries might be a good jumping off point if you're like casually interested in a subject matter. Right. But if you're going to try to make any claims, any truth claims, you shouldn't be using the AI. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just find it interesting that in the US, Meta specifically was like, no, you can say all these horrible things about immigrants and queer folks, but over here, we'll go ahead and do this thing in the EU. It's like, what are you now? Yeah. Like it must make it like all you're doing is making your moderation job or you're making your job harder almost by having all these different standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that maybe we've made a mistake in thinking that these companies should be the referee anyway. I don't know what the real answer is here, but they're not the New York Times or the Miami Herald or, their reputation does not suffer and their bottom line does not suffer when there's, hateful content and misinformation. In fact, that's the business model.
Yeah.
big money on all of these platforms. No matter what they say or whatever, they make big money platforming horrible people that are either lying to you or telling you to hate your neighbors and stuff. That's been that's always, the internet's always sort of been that way. But I feel like before social media got really big, and basically before people started getting their news there, everybody sort of understood that, like, don't believe what you see online. Maybe go check the newspaper or something like that if you'd like your news. And now people, not only are they getting it, their news online, but they're only reading whatever the headline is that they made for the social media site. And so, I think maybe we made a mistake by thinking these companies should be policing this stuff in the first place. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do in the EU. This might just all be symbolic, right? Because it doesn't seem like this thing that they signed has any teeth. And so maybe they just signed it so that, I don't know, they could feel good, or so that they go to Paris on vacation and people won't protest them, or I don't know.
I just want to clarify, like you said, that the business model is based on, it's like hate speech. It's not really, I feel like that's not really the business model. The business model is based on getting people riled up for some reason or other, right? Because that is engagement, and engagement, allows them to get more views, more time on their site, and get more money from advertisements. But it just happens to be that a lot of this hate speech is what riles people up.
Yeah.
So
hate speech, and then like conspiracism, right? Because it's not so much the conspiracism, it's just as much me as it is Madison Star Moon, right? Because I don't do it anymore, but I used to go on there and argue with these people forever, just forever. Yeah. And now I don't do that. It's a waste of time. But that's also engagement. And they were, monetizing my annoyance. Yeah. My anger at the state of affairs in the media space too. And so, it's getting everybody mad at each other. And the quickest way to do that is to promote not just like hateful stuff, but just to promote false stuff, to get people to start telling people that they're wrong. And then people know you're a sheep. You just start getting this. It's a small number of people that are doing this, but then it like keeps pulling more and more people in. Like the flat earth thing, there weren't really that many flat earthers. It got promoted on social media, and it was mostly people making fun of flat earthers, but that wasn't good either, because I don't know, you could be riding your bike or something. Yeah. You'd be doing something useful, because making fun of a flat earther, not very useful. Not very useful. It's like beating a 4-year-old at basketball. Yeah. So I got another story. This one is Pornhub at the Supreme Court. I believe we've covered some of this Pornhub stuff before. Interesting from this was FSC versus Paxton is a challenge to Texas House Bill 1181, which requires porn sites to ID verify all users and post basically info with pseudoscience regarding porn consumption and brain development. Interesting from the hearing is that Justice Alito asked, is it like the old Playboy magazine, where you have essays there by the modern day equivalent of Gore Vidal and William L. Buckley Jr. About Pornhub? And the response was no. But there are some articles on there about, sexual health and sexual wellness, which is good. They should have that stuff. Obviously, this challenge is a First Amendment challenge, and the Supreme Court has twice found that online age verification is unconstitutional for consumption of pornography. And I think this is all kind of dumb anyway, because it's pretty trivial to get around this regulation with a VPN. Yeah. So first I want to say, like, this has to do with requiring people to give their information, basically driver's license, identify themselves for these porn websites. And something like, I think there was like 20 something states now that have those kind of rules, right? And that's including Florida, where I'm at. So completely unrelated note, does anybody know a good VPN? I'll let you know when one of them decides they want to advertise on one of my podcasts. I'll certainly recommend that one. No personal interest there. It'll just be the best one, right? That'll be who approaches me. It won't be some shady, won't be some shady one. Like, I think that, like, if people don't want to give their information, they're just going to get around it with a VPN. And I think that there are also probably smaller porn sites, like tube sites, like small, like independent, like not independent, but like much smaller tube sites are just going to fly under the radar and ignore this. And or sites that are in other countries are like not going to bother with it, right? Right, because there's nothing you can do to them. Yeah. Because there's no way that, like, I don't think that there's like a great firewall of Texas or Florida yet. Right. Yet. Hopefully they won't figure that one out. It's like It's like how certain kinds of porn are illegal in Japan, so people just offshored the servers to somewhere else, and people just went and saw it. Japan has weird rules about porn, by the way. Also, they just have weird porn.
Well,
maybe that's why all the rules.
Which is kind of related to the rules, but that's okay.
But I don't know. 10 years ago, I'd have been like, this is the Supreme Court's this is a slam dunk. Even conservative justices are going to be like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to shake out now. I'm being honest. I think
I don't know, but like a lot of people were talking about, because again, it's like the ID thing. You have to identify yourself, and it's like that opens up a lot of security issues, right? For giving your information to these random porn sites, right? Even though like, maybe Pornhub might be, a better, more reputable source, sort of, but it's still, even then it makes them kind of a target for anybody who wants to do any kind of ID theft.
Right.
As well.
For some people, like for some people, it's like, whatever, like, Dave looks at porn. Well, I'm like, oh, yeah. Talk about porn on my show sometime. Like,
right.
I can't show it on my show, but other people, maybe they're more discreet. Maybe they're a teacher, and it doesn't make you a bad teacher. I bet most teachers, like most people, will look at pornography occasionally. But like in certain professions, it's, even though everybody's doing it, it's looked down upon. And especially in, places, especially in like really conservative places, which is funny because the per capita porn use is generally pretty high in those places. But this is according to the porn sites, who may have a vested interest in telling you things like that because it's they got their own agendas, right? They got their own agendas, and they might want to dunk on the people that are trying to stop them. It's just like your driver's license number, or your ID number and stuff that's used to verify. You use that to verify things with the government sometimes, and you don't, it's not a secret, but it's not something you want to be given to everybody.
Right. Especially for something like this, where it's like they don't really need it for anything. It's not like, you have to give that sort of information for, bank accounts, or, there's online exchanges and stuff where you need to do that for know your customer kind of rules and stuff. And that makes a lot of sense, because there's a lot of financial fraud. Like that's an issue, right? So they need to be able to track people down, but this is just porn. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Now, I'm fine with, on the other end, on the actor side, knowing who the actors are.
Yeah, which I think they've had to do for quite a while now anyways.
Right. That's fine.
But even that's not foolproof, as I heard of, like a lot of actresses have got in underage and stuff, and that's caused all sorts of issues.
Right. And the place, I think they're in the wrong place for this thing, actually, where I think the I think dating sites need to ID verify everybody, honestly.
I think reputable ones definitely should.
Well, I think that if there was going to be legislation around this, if you want to protect people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Then not only are you, keeping minors off these sites because they're not supposed to be there, but then if something bad happens, that you could subpoena information about who this person really is. Like if they, if there's an abusive, somebody just abuses their power over someone else through whatever means in a dating situation. But this is just a porn. The sex already happened, friend.
Yeah, really.
Like
exactly. But I also want to point out, like, Zalito's asking about if there's something other than porn, like if there are articles or something on this website. Apparently there's at least one. It was like an OnlyFans actress who was also, I guess, into machine learning and AI stuff, and was posting stuff on YouTube, and then figured out that she'd make more money posting it on Pornhub.
Yeah.
And it's not like, they're not sex at all. It's just about machine learning. She just makes more money that way.
That's fine, actually. Like, but
there's no problem with that. I just think it's funny.
It is funny, but Playboy, he doesn't. Alito, like, Playboy was about a lifestyle, right? This is not a Pornhub. Isn't about a lifestyle. Like Playboy, they made apparel with their little logo on it. Like, Alito was so out of touch. This is not Playboy. Playboy was in the name. There were just beautiful women in there because that's what Playboys want to see, I suppose. But it was about a lifestyle. It was about being smart. It was about being, it was something, he wasn't lying. There was great writing. There were great articles in Playboy. Some people, the joke was, I buy it for the articles, but if you read the articles, they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they had like really good writers that I was going to say I don't think they're on staff, but they, would freelance hire them regularly, right?
And they had the money to pay them because everybody was buying it, for the articles.
Exactly.
Yeah,
also, I want to point out you may be seeing this show on Pornhub soon. Just so, anyways, to pay the bills.
But yeah, the Pornhub isn't a lifestyle brand like Playboy was, and that'd be pretty funny if they start hiring journalists. They're like, actually, that's not a bad idea, Sam.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe we'll get around this Texas thing by being like, we're a lifestyle brand, not a porno.
Unfortunately, they'll probably hire writers like Jordan Peterson or something.
I think that they would. No, I think that it would tend to be like more progressive, sex positive people, just because it's a porn site. Right? They're not going to have Pat Robertson on there yelling at you about how you're not supposed to have any sex or whatever. Or Phyllis Schlafly, rest in peace, Phyllis Schlafly. Like they're not going to have a bunch of people on there talking about like sexual purity. It's bad. It doesn't fit with the brand, right?
Right.
But I also don't think they're going to do it. Like why? I think they'd only do it because it would be funny because the Supreme Court justice suggested it.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe they could. Maybe when he retires, they could hire him to write for Pornhub.
That's right. Yeah.
So this is all really dumb. The internet is made for cat videos and pussy video. I know that's going to get our video demonetized.
We don't get monetized anyways. It just means it's not going to get many views because it's not going to distribute it.
Just tank the viewership. But like the internet, like all new technology when it comes out, like any audio visual technology that ever comes out, the thing that pushes it forward is porn. And nothing has pushed forward computing more than porn and video games. And I think people need to like appreciate that a little bit more. Like the video codecs that we're using right now. Yeah. Porn. Yeah. That was at least until the big boys, like until like Google and until like other like large companies started creating video codecs. But at first, these codecs, what do you think DivX was for? It was for porn. It was so you could download a porn on your dial-up, right? Yep. Yeah. And I hope the Supreme Court like strikes this law down. I really do. I don't think that. I think it's generally bad for minors to be looking at a lot of porn, but I don't think we're ever going to stop people under the age of 18 from using the internet to look at porn. I just don't think we're ever going to do it. And I think this is one of those where are the parents situation. Right. And we're not supposed to be the kinds of people like where are your parents at, right? We're not supposed to. But this is like a personal matter. This is the government in your bedroom or your goon cave or whatever. Right. Right. And this is,
keep your government out of my goon cave.
Right. And it's real bad. And like I said, I think before they do anything like this, they need to look at making sites where people can meet strangers, do some kind of ID verification
safely. Yeah. Well, I have to, your experience is different from mine, but as far as I'm concerned, like in terms of dating sites, the internet is dead.
Oh, that's because your technology sucks.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like I'm just telling you,
it is completely packed with scammers. Like, it is nothing but scammers. Now I can tell if there's a scammer on the website. If somebody is a scammer,
is that they're on the website,
that they respond to any message. That's pretty much it.
And I think that we're a little far afield here, but I think that one of the main reasons is that in the 90s when the internet was coming up, a lot of gay men still had to be closeted, and so the internet was a pretty good place to meet somebody without like having to go, like if you didn't live in the city or whatever, or even if you live kind of close to the city, if you lived in the suburbs, you don't have to go all the way into San Francisco to get to the gay bar or whatever. Yeah. And like communities formed first on IRC, and then you could know that person wasn't meeting you to bash you because they were part of this IRC community. Right. And once you got in there, you could ask other people, hey, is this person okay? What do you know about this person? Or, this person brand new. And I think that being the case, that there's just more, especially gay men, like on these apps looking to hook up. And there's just not the scammers. They get like there aren't enough scammers because there's just so many of us on these apps. Yeah. And also there's a lot of other things, like the grinder isn't a swipe left, swipe right. It's like you have a grid, you tap somebody's profile. If you're interested, you say, hey, what's up, or whatever you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you don't want me to respond to you, you just start sending lewd pictures, and I'm just like, block, weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, tell me your name before you show me. Oh, probably should stop now. But I just think that they're like going the wrong way with this. I think there's no, okay, yeah, you don't want kids having access to a 24/7 porn machine, but they do.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And like a teenager is going to find a way around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to prevent, like, it's just going to stop people who are of legal age from being able to consume the content they want. Because I'm telling you, a teenager will find a way around this. They will find a site that doesn't care. They will find pornography.
Yeah.
They will literally have their friend in the next state over download it for them and send it to them.
Yeah.
So this is dumb. I'm not confident, but I think it could get struck down, but it would be 5-4. It's not going to be like 6-3 or 7-2 like you would think. Yeah. Well, it should be like 9-0 because
pretty much.
But like, that's just my opinion, and I'm not on the Supreme Court. I just wish people. I don't know. It just seems like there's no real safety issue here. Like I said, the sex already happened, and
right.
And I haven't looked into it enough. Does this apply to looking at things like OnlyFans as well? I haven't checked. Presume it does, but I also, because OnlyFans is a subscription service anyway, so you have to They already have some KYC stuff in there, so it might already be in compliance. It was very different.
They have all the types of KYC.
Yeah, and KY.
Yeah.
And, but whereas the Tube site, you just log in and you tell it what you want. Thanks for checking out How the Tech Are You? We do this show every week, unless I just got us kicked off of YouTube. You can support our other work by going to echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the page and pick your favorite way to support us. Check out our other shows. We're live 6 nights a week, most weeks on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/echoplexmedia. And you don't have to show your ID to click one of these two things that I'm pointing to. Have a great Tekken week.